Championship of the World between the featherweight champion of the British Empire, who is the challenger, Johnny Famechon of Australia. And the holder, Legra of Spain.
The featherweight championship of the world. The dusky holder, Jose Legra, and the French-born Australian, Johnny Famechon. This fight postponed from December because the champion, Legra, had an injured shoulder. Famechon has made 2 trips now from Australia to challenge for this title, so already he's covered 36,000 miles in quest of the title that Legra holds. The champion has started favourite. He has a flashy, quick, bouncing sort of style, often referred to as a miniature Muhammad Ali. And he has a very similar cheeky personality to the former heavyweight champion of the world. It was Legra's whirlwind start against Winston that really beat the Welshman. That's a slip. Famechon over. Round 1. Legra just stormed into Winston and completely overwhelmed him in the first round. Legra took 5 rounds to beat Howard Winston. But if Famechon can get past the early rounds against this man they call the Black Marvel, then this could be our most interesting fight, because Famechon is very well accustomed to going long distances in fights. Famechon is wisely using all the ring here in this opening round, which is something that Winston didn't manage to do. Winston stood around a bit and got caught on the ropes and took a lot of punches he shouldn't have taken. But Famechon is moving around and being evasive. Famechon is essentially a craftsman. His father, Andre Famechon, former French lightweight champion, was a rugged, all-action type of fighter, but Famechon is more a type for the boxing connoisseurs. The Royal Albert Hall holds 6,000 people for boxing, and I would think it's very, very close to capacity. And Famechon has made quite an impressive start to this fight. Well, there wasn't very much in that opening round, and Legra hasn't made quite the flashy sort of start that a lot of people thought he might. So the French-born Australian challenger, Johnny Famechon, has made a good start in this fight. Using the ring, keeping away from Legra, making Legra chase him, and presumably hoping to draw Legra's strength, because nobody quite knows whether Legra is capable of going full out for 15 rounds. These two are collecting £25,000 between them from promoter Mike Barrett. £20,000 is going to the champion, the rest to Famechon. Famechon finding trouble keeping his balance. He must have slippery soles to his ring boots. They might well score those with scissors during the interval, enable him to get a grip. And Legra now is putting on the pressure in the second round. And Famechon quite clearly is going to find it hard work in these early rounds to match the speed of the Cuban-born champion. You can see the similarity. There was the double shuffle, a speciality of Muhammad Ali. You can see the resemblance between the style of Legra and the former world heavyweight champion. He's clearly modeled himself on Muhammad Ali. Famechon quite obviously feeling that he's pretty safe inside, and he's protected inside against those long flashing arms of the Cuban. Two rounds completed, and Famechon of Australia has probably dropped just a little bit behind on that second round. 23 years old, born in France, never had an amateur bout. He's been a professional since 1961. He's now had 57 fights. He's won 47, drawn 6, and lost 4. Now, he's not a big puncher. Of his 47 wins, only 19 have come inside the distance. Now, like Legra, he's got a record of not having been beaten in recent years. In fact, he hasn't lost a fight since October 1965. He's now gone 25 successive fights without defeat. And sitting in the audience, Famechon's mother and grandmother, who've come over specially from France to see this boy fight. And it wasn't until last year that Famechon had seen his mother for very many years, because the parents split up. And now the atmosphere in the Albert Hall, really tense and expectant. A big crowd here for this very unusual World Championship. A Spaniard born in Cuba and an Australian born in France, and fighting in London for the world title. What a contrast between these two, with this bouncing Cuban, whose face is always expressive. The feelings are always close to the surface on Legra's face, but Famechon is dour and poker-faced, wiry, a real craftsman. George Smith of Edinburgh, the referee, a little warning to both of them there about the holding inside. Round 3. Some experts thought that Legra might finish this fight quite quickly, but there aren't any signs yet that he's going to do that. That's a good left jab from Famechon. Nothing very much in this third round. It's a good right from Famechon. He countered his man beautifully with the right hand. And there is now every sign after 3 rounds that Jose Legra, the champion, is really going to have to work hard if he's going to keep this title against Famechon. One can begin to see now what Winston might have done against Legra if he'd had the footwork that he used to have. But on the night he fought Legra last July, Winston no longer had the speed and the dazzling footwork that he had before he fought Vicente Saldivar of Mexico 3 times. And on that night, Legra was just too quick and too good for him. But Famechon is showing the way that you can use footwork and the entire area of the ring to stop this flashy Cuban getting at you. Again in this 4th round, the champion Legra having to work for every opening, having to pick his punches whenever he can. He only gets a few in now and again. It's quite clear that Famechon is planning a long fight. End of 4 rounds. And this French-born Australian, Johnny Famechon, is looking a real menace to the world champion. 23 years old, who left France with his father, Andre, when he was 5 years old. He won the Commonwealth Featherweight Championship in November 1967 in Melbourne, when he stopped John O'Brien of Scotland in 11 rounds. And he's defended that title once since against Billy McGrandle of Canada, and he stopped McGrandle in 12 rounds. Just slight signs of damage, a graze or two around the left eye of the Australian. Legra seems to be unmarked.
Second up, round 5.
Well, Legra predicted when he arrived in this country that he'd beat Famechon by the 7th or the 8th round. Well, he's going to have to go some if he's going to fulfill that prediction. Both these men look wonderfully well conditioned. Legra sleek and brown and shiny. And Famechon's body looks as hard as nails. There isn't an ounce of spare fat on Famechon's body. Famechon 8 stone 13 pounds and 6 ounces. Legra 8 stone 12 pounds and 3/4. The featherweight championship limit, of course, 9 stone. Famechon still finding it quite difficult to get a grip with his boots on this canvas, and the corners still haven't scored the soles of his boots, which I thought they might have done. Famechon is quite useful inside. He does rather the better work inside, as a matter of fact. The plan here for Famechon is sticking out a mile. He's going to draw Legra around this ring for round after round and try to get the strength out of his legs, and then plan a really hard finish in the later stages. This, I feel sure, is the Australians' plan. Well, we're now a third of the way through the scheduled 15 rounds championship distance, and I really don't think there can be very much in it.
Round 6.
Famechon came to this country completely unknown except by reputation. One always tends to look a little askance at Australian fighters because the opposition in Australia isn't all that great. But it's quite clear now that Famechon is an accomplished performer. This man is a good fighter and a good boxer. Well, there's no doubt that the well-known boxing class of the Famechon family has been transmitted into Johnny Famechon's frame. Funnily enough, his father at one time didn't want him to become a boxer and thought he'd never make the grade. He said he didn't hit hard enough to be a fighter, but in fact, Famechon has shown that with boxing skill, you don't necessarily have to hit hard. Famechon's best punch is that straight right. He tries to lure Legra into position. Watch him working for the feint. He tries to draw Legra on for the straight right counter. Oh, two good punches. I think it was as much a slip as anything else, but there were two quite good crisp punches went in there from Legra. Difficult to tell whether he was knocked down or whether he slipped. We're on 6. Legra predicted the 7th or 8th round, and he's working for it now. Watch that right hand of Legra's. This is the bolo punch that he's been working on in training. A bolo punch is a right-hander which whips up from the hip. And this character from Cuba, and now of Spain, Jose Legra, gives himself a little clap because that was undoubtedly the best round he's had yet. He really put it on there. He turned it all on, and for 3 minutes there began to look like the world champion he is. He's the 3rd Cuban in boxing history to win the world featherweight title. Kid Chocolate did it in 1932. Sugar Ramos did it in '63. The commentator from Spain sitting with me at the ringside. This fight being transmitted on Eurovision. Well, now we enter the crucial period in which Legra predicted he would end the fight. The 7th or the 8th rounds, he said. Let's see if he can make those predictions come true. Legra now is absolutely bursting with confidence. I'm sure that's those slippery boots again. Legra really is a great character. There's that slip again. What a wonderfully sporting contest this world title fight is, because every now and again they acknowledge each other's punches. When one or the other puts in a particularly good punch, the man who has to take it gives a little grin and as much as to say, well done, you got one in there. Famechon does most of the scoring inside. Good punches inside. He works well to the body, and occasionally a good uppercut to the chin. Famechon's done some good work in this round. He's used the ring well again, and he stopped Legra capitalizing on that good 6th round. Actually, Johnny Famechon, born in France, of course, was christened Jean-Pierre, taken to Australia at 5 when his father decided to emigrate. Andre Famechon, his father, fought in Australia during his professional career, and that's why he chose Australia as a place to emigrate. They settled in a Melbourne suburb called Richmond. Johnny Famechon was trained as an electrician, in fact is a qualified electrician. Now for the first time they're beginning to score the soles of Famechon's boots, which I feel they should have done a long time ago. Ambrose Palmer, the manager, leaning over the ropes. Famous Australian fighter himself, triple champion of Australia in his time, Ambrose Palmer. Round 8. Legra's prediction looks as though it's going to get away from him, unless he really turns it on in this round. I don't think Legra is the sort of man who has a one-punch finish in him. He wears men down with accumulation of punches. See how difficult a target Famechon makes himself. Legra couldn't find anywhere to put a punch in. And a bandage now has worked loose from Legra's left glove. Kid Tunero, his manager, coming in to attend to it, but George Smith's looking after it himself. Eighth round. There's a minute left of this 8th round. Legra still moving well, still plenty of bounce and spring in those legs. Well, I'm quite sure now that Johnny Famechon has surprised a lot of critics. A lot of people predicted that he would be finished in about 7 rounds. But there's no sign that this fight is going to finish at all quickly now. And the chances are, I think, that this is going to go the distance. Well, now the prediction of Legra that he'd win this fight in 7 or 8 rounds has gone by the board, and he knows what he's got to face now. He's really got to work hard if he's going to defend this title successfully. Famechon is absolutely nobody's pushover. And the chances are that Famechon may well be the stronger in the later stages of this fight, so we could see a most interesting conclusion to this fight. It's a slip. Famechon not quite keeping up with the number of blows scored by Legra in this round, but there's not a lot between them. A couple of good head punches from Legra. He's very quick to seize his opportunity. He's got a quick brain. See the way he drops those gloves, holds his hands down to his side. That's Muhammad Ali all over. There's that straight right again from Famechon. A good punch, but he hasn't put through the same number of punches that Legra has scored in this round. And in fact, it's a little noticeable that Famechon's feet are slightly slower. He's taken rather more punches. Well, this really is a fascinating world title fight, and although I think Famechon here is probably a little bit behind on points, the whole thing is still in doubt, and this is going to be decided over the last few rounds, because Famechon is still strong. He's used to going 15 rounds, and he can obviously come strongly towards the end. He began as a professional just 3 months after his 16th birthday under Ambrose Palmer, the man who's with him in the corner there, who's always handled him as a fighter. Ambrose Palmer leaning over the ropes with the bottle. He won the middle, light heavy and heavyweight championships of Australia between 1929 and 1938. Fought in Great Britain once against a Canadian called Eddie Wenstob, and although Palmer came here the underdog, he outpointed Wenstob, and Famechon came here the underdog in this fight, and maybe he's going to outpoint Legra. One gets the impression that both these men are holding something back, ready for the final stages of this fight, because I think they both sense now that this could well go the distance. Two good punches, quick punches there from Legra, the champion. Famechon is beginning to blow a little, and Legra still looks fresh. It's quite possible that the speed at which Famechon's been forced to move in this fight in order to stay out of trouble is beginning to tell on him. Famechon got slightly the worse of that exchange. He's being pressured a bit here now, and he's being forced to come back. The initiative always now being taken by Legra. This is really a fantastic fight, and people at the ringside now jumping up from their seats and walking towards Famechon's corner and clapping him. There's simply no telling from looking at Famechon's face the way he feels that this fight is going. He's still got that same grim, dour expression, complete poker face. But the champion looks the fresher of the two now in the 11th round. Famechon fractionally is slower than he was earlier, but the Cuban is still bouncing around, full of energy. Famechon keeps coming back into this fight every time you begin to think that Legra is getting on top. So this young Australian comes back, but that was a knockdown, I think that must be. Right hand, and I don't think that was a slip. Quick right hand. Jumped up without a count. There's a right hand again, slightly with the inside of the glove. But Famechon had to go down. Round 11, 20 seconds to go. And that bell hasn't come a second too soon for Famechon. The worst round he's had yet, the challenger, in quite a bit of trouble in the 11th round, beginning to tire a bit from this incessant speed that the Cuban keeps showing. And Famechon has had to go at the same speed to keep up with him all the way, and it's beginning to tell. I think he's beginning to weaken a little bit. But he's still got plenty of determination to come back, and I think he's going to force himself back into this fight somehow. He's not going to give up this challenge easily. The champion completely unconcerned. There's an air of quiet confidence in that corner. He didn't need the 4 minutes rest, you see. He's up on his feet long before the minute's up. Now, what has Famechon got left? He's well accustomed to going 15 rounds. How much has he got left now to force himself back into this championship fight? The last 2 rounds, this championship has begun to swing quite clearly in the champion's favour. Famechon has not made very much impression on this round so far. Legra hasn't had quite the success. I think he's taking it a little easier in this round. Spreading out his stamina now to go the 15 rounds. Well, now this fight is in territory that's completely foreign to Jose Legra, the world champion. He's never been beyond 12 rounds before in 121 fights. What a good fight these two have put on. There's hardly been a stern warning from referee George Smith. He warned them both not to hold in the early stages, but since then there's hardly been any sort of warning at all. They work inside, you see. It's not much holding being done there. A little bit. Famechon's right eye is looking a little red. And I think there may be a very slight cut somewhere near Famechon's right eye. And Famechon is cut. He's cut alongside the right eye, but not seriously. Oh, what a hard round that was, the 13th. Famechon slightly cut. The pace hotted up. He was equal to it. And this is proving to be a really first-class World Featherweight Championship. Well, there are 2 rounds to go now. And this is where Famechon has really got to pull it out. He must be behind, I feel, but what can he do now to try and swing it his way and win the world title that his uncle, Ray Famechon, failed to win against Willie Pep in Madison Square Garden in 1950. Famechon getting the signal from his corner to work hard now. Denny Mancini working as his second with him there, telling him to keep punching 2 hands. But these two have won themselves a lot of supporters, very nearly 6,000 of them, I should think, in the Albert Hall here tonight. But the real sympathy and the real sentiment here is on the side of the Australian, Johnny Famechon. Careless use of the head by the champion. One of the few occasions on which George Smith has had to warn either man. Famechon getting his left hand to work in the 14th. What a pace these two have kept up. There's hardly been a round in which either man has been able to coast or has wanted to coast. Famechon working well behind the left hand in this round, working really well and forcing Legra to go full out. What a memorable evening and a memorable fight this is. A low one by Famechon at the end of the 14th round. Oh, what a great championship this is. And even Legra looks a little tired there as he goes to his stool and he's blowing. He was really forced to go all out there. And so now we come to the final 3 minutes with the champion, Legra, grimly trying to hold on to his title here. I think he must be out in front. But this is a fight in which you feel it's going to go hard and fast right to the very last bell. Let's have a quick look, if we can, at Famechon before he comes out for the final round. This man who's put up such a wonderful fight as the underdog, Johnny Famechon, French-born Australian. And now the final 3 minutes coming up. Listen to this crowd now, stamping their feet and cheering these two on into the final 3 minutes. The last round of the World Featherweight Championship. Jose Legra from Cuba and Spain, the holder, against this wonderful challenger from down under, the Frenchman, Johnny Famechon. And Legra is going to put in a real flashing finish. Never been 15 rounds in his life. That's a slip. And this crowd now is on tiptoe with excitement behind me. Ambrose Palmer, the manager of Famechon, standing up and waving Famechon on. Come forward, he's saying. Legra doing the double shuffle, Muhammad Ali stuff. What a finish to this fight. I have not heard such excitement in a boxing arena in Britain for years. I think not since Cooper and Clay. And Famechon is having a terrific last round. Famechon is having one of the best rounds of the whole fight for himself here. There's a minute to go. And Famechon is the one who's punching strongly and hard. And Famechon is winning this last round. He's winning it. It's definitely Famechon on top now in the last half minute. Less than 20 seconds to go. 10 seconds. There's the bell. What a title fight it was. What a title fight. And Famechon has won the World Featherweight Championship. What a performance. Johnny Famechon, French-born Australian, has won the Featherweight Championship of the world. The title his uncle couldn't win 19 years ago. And he's won it, and he's won it with that tremendous finish. That wonderful, wonderful last round. And he's going over now to commiserate with Legra, who looks absolutely stunned. Legra looks absolutely stunned in his corner. He couldn't believe it when George Smith held Famechon's hand up. But Famechon is the winner. 23 years old. Left France when he was 5 years old, went to Australia. A wonderful win by Johnny Famechon, who takes the title away from Jose Legra in a memorable World Championship. Well, that's two world champions Australia can now claim. They've already got Lionel Rose, the Aborigine, who holds the world bantamweight title. And now they've got the featherweight champion of the world.